The snow fell in thick, relentless flakes, blanketing the windshield of my beat-up sedan as I navigated the icy interstate. Christmas carols hummed softly from the radio, their cheerful melodies a stark contrast to the knot of anticipation twisting in my gut. I was Sarah Bennett, 32 years old, driving across 3 states, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, to surprise my family for Christmas. In the trunk, carefully packed, were gifts wrapped in silver and gold paper, each chosen with love. A cashmere sweater for my mother Linda in her favorite shade of blue, a limited edition gaming console for my younger brother Jake, and a homemade apple pie, baked from Grandma Bennett's recipe, its crust golden and perfect after weeks of practice. I hadn't been home for Christmas in years. My job as a marketing manager in Chicago kept me tethered to a demanding schedule, but this year I'd declined a company retreat to Jamaica and arranged coverage for my accounts to make this trip happen. The thought of seeing Mom and Jake, of reclaiming the warmth of our family traditions, had fueled me through the long hours of planning. Sunday dinners at our modest 2-story home in Willow Creek, Ohio, had once been the heartbeat of our family. Even after Dad left when I was 15, Mom, Jake, and I had clung to those moments, laughing over burnt casseroles, watching old movies, leaning on each other to fill the void he left behind. The drive was grueling, stretching from 8 hours to nearly 12 as snowstorms slowed traffic to a crawl. I gripped the steering wheel, my knuckles white, and called Mom to update her. "I'm running late," I said, forcing cheer into my voice. "Snow's bad, but I'll be there by dinner." "Dinner's at 6, she replied, her tone oddly flat. "Don't rush. We'll save you a plate." "I've got presents for everyone," I added, hoping to spark some excitement. "You and Jake, and I can wrap something for anyone else who's coming." "No need for that," she said quickly. "Just drive safely." The call ended abruptly, leaving me staring at the phone, a flicker of unease settling in. I brushed it off. Mom was probably busy with holiday prep. She'd mentioned a small gathering, but hadn't elaborated. Maybe neighbors or coworkers. I didn't press. At a rest stop in western Ohio, I tried Jake. He answered on the 4th ring, his voice breathless over a din of background noise. "Hey Sarah, what's up?" "Just checking in. I'm about 3 hours out. Roads are clearing." Cool. I'm kinda in the middle of something. Can I call you back?" He didn't. I stopped at a gourmet market near Columbus, picking up Granny Smith apples and premium cinnamon for the pie, even splurging on a handcrafted pie dish I thought Mom would love. An elderly woman in line smiled at my purchases. "Someone's getting a special treat," she said warmly. "My family," I replied, my voice catching. "I haven't been home for Christmas in a while." She patted my arm. "Nothing like coming home for the holidays, dear." The final stretch of highway brought familiar sights. The movie theater where I'd had my first date, the ice cream shop where we celebrated Jake's Little League wins, the park where Mom used to take us, sledding. Willow Creek's main street sparkled with twinkling lights and evergreen garlands, the town square dominated by a towering Christmas tree. My heart lifted as I turned onto Maple Avenue, our street, and saw our colonial-style house, now adorned with elegant white lights I didn't remember from childhood. The driveway was packed with unfamiliar cars, a red SUV, a sleek black sedan, a flashy sports car, next to Mom's familiar blue Honda. Quite the crowd for a small gathering. I parked along the curb, checked my reflection in the rearview mirror, and applied a quick swipe of lipstick. I wanted to look like the successful woman I'd become, someone Mom and Jake could be proud of. Balancing the pie and a tote bag of gifts, I crunched through the snow to the porch. Christmas music and laughter spilled from inside, along with the rich aroma of roasting turkey. Through the window, I glimpsed a towering Christmas tree, its ornaments glittering and stockings hung on the mantel. My stomach fluttered. Would one have my name? I rang the doorbell. my smile wide with anticipation. The music dipped, footsteps approached, and the door swung open. Mom stood there, a glass of red wine in hand, her hair freshly styled, her makeup flawless. She wore an elegant black dress and a sparkling necklace, looking more polished than I'd ever seen. For a split second, joy flashed across her face. Then it vanished, replaced by something chilling, alarm. Her eyes widened as they took in my snow-dusted boots, the steaming pie, the bag of gifts. Her fingers tightened around her wine glass, and she positioned herself to block my view of the house. The warm embrace I'd imagined never came. Instead, she said, "Sorry, I think you have the wrong house." I blinked, certain I'd misheard. "Mom, it's me, Sarah." Her expression didn't waver. "I'm afraid you're confused. There's no Sarah here." Her voice carried just enough volume to be heard by anyone nearby. The pie grew heavy in my hands. Snow swirled around us, some flakes landing on the warm pastry. "Mom, what are you talking about? I drove all day. We talked." "Earlier," she leaned forward, her voice low. "This isn't a good time, Sarah. You should have called to confirm." "I did call. You knew I was coming." My voice trembled, confusion giving way to hurt. A man's voice called from inside. "Linda, who's at the door? We're ready. For the toast." Mom glanced back, then faced me, her expression hardening. "Like I said, wrong house. Merry Christmas." She began closing the door. "Wait." I wedged my boot in the gap. "At least let me give you the gifts. I drove across 3 states. The door paused. For a moment, I thought she might relent. Instead, she whispered, "Not now, Sarah, please, just go." Jake appeared behind her, dressed in a button-down and tie, looking more polished than ever. His eyes met mine, widening in recognition, then panic. "It's nothing," Mom said to him, maintaining her bizarre pretense. "Just someone with the wrong address." Jake stared at me, conflict flickering across his face. I waited for him to speak up, to welcome his sister who'd sent him $500 every month for years. Instead, he placed a hand on Mom's shoulder. "Everything okay out here?" "Fine," she replied. "I was just explaining the situation." Laughter and clinking glasses echoed from the dining room. A woman's voice called, "Jake, your girlfriend's telling that hilarious story about your Aspen trip." Girlfriend? Aspen? With what money had my chronically unemployed brother gone skiing? "I'll be right there," Jake called back, avoiding my gaze. To Mom, he murmured, "We should get back to our guests." Mom nodded and faced me. "You need to leave, Sarah. This is embarrassing for everyone." "Embarrassing?" I repeated, the word a physical blow. "I'm family. How is that embarrassing?" "We have important people here tonight," she hissed. "Jake's girlfriend's parents, my new friends from the country club." Country club? On a nurse administrator's salary? "We can talk tomorrow. This isn't the right time for your unexpected visit." "So when is the right time to see my own family at Christmas?" My arms trembled under the weight of the pie and gifts. Jake shifted uncomfortably but stayed silent. From inside, voices began a countdown. 10, 9, 8, just go, Sarah, please. Mom's voice held no warmth, only irritation. 7, 6, 5. Jake finally spoke, barely audible. "You should have called first, sis." 4, 3. Mom pushed my foot from the threshold. "Merry Christmas," she said mechanically, then shut the door in my face. 2, 1. Cheers erupted inside, the celebration uninterrupted, as if the daughter of the house hadn't just been turned away like a stranger. I stood frozen, snow piling on my shoulders. The pie slipped from my hands, the handcrafted dish cracking in. The snow. The gift bag fell, one package bursting open to reveal the blue cashmere sweater. Tears blurred my vision as I stumbled back to my car, the Christmas lights now a cruel mockery. This house, my childhood home, belonged to strangers wearing my family's faces. In my car, I gripped the steering wheel, numb fingers trembling as sobs tore through me. The radio's Christmas song faded under the weight of my cries, fogging the windows. For 32 years, I'd been Sarah Bennett, daughter of Linda, sister of Jake. In one moment, that identity had been shattered on the porch of the home where it was forged. I was no longer family, just an inconvenience. My phone lit up with Jake's name. With shaking fingers, I answered, unable to speak. "Sarah, you still outside?" His voice was hushed, hurried. "I'm in my car," I managed, my throat raw. "Listen, I'm sorry about what happened. I didn't know you were actually coming. Mom said you canceled." "Canceled?" I croaked. "I spoke to her today. I told her I was on my way." "Well, she told everyone you couldn't make it. She's been planning this dinner for weeks. Important. Connections for her new business venture." New business venture? Mom had been a hospital administrator for 20 years. "What business?" "The boutique spa she's opening with her partner, Richard. He's here tonight." None of this made sense. "Jake, I've been sending mortgage money every month. Is Mom even still at the hospital?" A pause. "Not since last year. Look, this isn't a good time to get into this. Don't be upset about tonight. You know how Mom gets about her social standing lately. You showing up unannounced threw her off." "Unannounced? I've been planning this for months. I sent extra money for the holiday dinner." Another pause. Longer. When Jake spoke, his tone was placating, the charm he used to dodge trouble. "Don't make this a bigger deal than it is, Sarah. Christmas Day is tomorrow. Maybe we can meet for coffee, just you and me. Exchange gifts then." The dismissal broke something inside me. Years of support, of prioritizing their needs, reduced to a consolation coffee. "Fine," I said flatly. "I understand." "Great. You're the best, sis, always understanding." Relief flooded his voice. "I should get back before they notice I'm gone. Text me your hotel and I'll call tomorrow." "I understand," I repeated, numb. I expected the call to end, but rustling sounds came through. Jake hadn't hung up. His voice returned, no longer for me, but to someone inside, now dripping, with mockery. "Crisis averted," he said, laughing. "She's going to some hotel, totally bought the coffee plan." A female voice responded, too distant to hear clearly. "I know, right?" Jake continued. "She still thinks sending rent money means she's automatically included in everything, like we're obligated just because she sends cash." My body went cold. "It's not like she can't afford it," another voice said. "Mom's, maybe." "Have you seen her apartment in those Facebook photos? All that travel? She's doing fine without us." "Exactly," Jake agreed. "We're using her money for things that actually matter. She's so desperate to be needed, she never questions. Why we always need more." Laughter followed, multiple voices joining in. "Remember when she missed last Christmas because of that flu?" Mom's voice. "Sent those ridiculous packages express delivery. The look on Richard's face when I told him they were from my daughter who thinks gifts make up for never visiting." "Speaking of gifts," Jake added, "you should see what she brought today. A homemade pie, like we're in some Hallmark movie. So pathetic." More laughter, growing fainter as he moved away. "She's always been like that," Mom said, barely audible. "Always wanting more emotional connection than normal people. Always asking how we're feeling. Who has time for that? At least her money doesn't talk." The call continued, snippets of their cruelty drifting through. The Christmas dinner money went to Richard's daughter's wedding gift. Jake's reliable car was an Audi. The country club membership was for networking. She never questions any of it, someone said, followed by clinking glasses and laughter. Finally, a beep signaled the call's end. I sat paralyzed, the phone still pressed to my ear, their words slicing through years of trust. My family saw me as a distant ATM, mocked for my generosity, my love, my desire for connection. Through the fog of betrayal, one thought crystallized. I needed proof. I opened my banking app, taking screenshots of every transfer, $800 monthly to Mom for the mortgage, $500 to Jake to get on his feet. The amounts were staggering, over $80,000 in 5 years, enough for a house down payment, international travel, a transformed life. Instead, it funded their country club, ski trips, a spa business I'd never heard of. Each screenshot hardened. My resolve, the pain shifting to something steely. The Riverside Inn's neon sign glowed through the snow, a beacon of shelter. Just passing through? The clerk asked, processing my card. Something like that, I replied, unable to explain I was homeless in my hometown, cast out by my own family. Room 118 smelled of cleaner and stale air, its beige walls and floral. Bedspread a far cry from the festive warmth I'd expected. I sat on the bed, still in my coat, replaying the rejection, the overheard call, each word a fresh wound. Sleep was impossible. I opened my laptop, connecting to the motel's spotty Wi-Fi, and searched my email for Jake's name. The pattern was clear. Casual check-ins, mentions of financial woes, requests for help, gratitude, then silence. One email, accidentally forwarded 2 years ago, was damning. She agreed to the extra $1,000 for car repairs. That should cover the boat's down payment. Maybe mention the transmission next month for storage fees. I'd sent that $1,000, believing it saved Jake's job. They'd laughed at my gullibility. Mom's emails were subtler, but no less manipulative. Her mortgage crises coincided with social media posts of luxury spa vacations. Credit card. Statements revealed unauthorized charges, restaurants, department stores, electronics, on cards I'd given for emergencies. By 3 a.m., I'd compiled a document. Dates, amounts, lies versus actual uses. Over $83,459.87 in direct transfers, plus gifts and charges. In the bathroom mirror, I saw a stranger. Red-rimmed eyes, hollow cheeks, but a flicker of determination. I opened my banking app. My finger hovered over the screen, loyalty battling betrayal. Family doesn't do this, I whispered. I canceled the $800 and $500 monthly transfers, reported the credit cards as compromised, and scheduled a morning call to the bank about the mortgage. Each action was a severance, painful yet liberating. By dawn, my accounts were mine alone, my future unburdened by their greed. I drafted an email to Mom and Jake. Subject: termination of financial support. Effective immediately, I have canceled all transfers, removed authorized users, and will no longer provide assistance. Documentation of $83,459.87 over 5 years has been saved for legal purposes. Do not contact me regarding financial matters. Sarah, I pressed send, packed my bag, and drove back to Chicago. The empty interstate stretched before me, a metaphor for my new beginning. At the Indiana border, I called the bank, reporting possible fraud. We'll stop all pending transactions and contact you after the holiday, the representative said. I terminated Jake's sublease, closed payment apps, and canceled an investment account I'd set up for him. Each step was a reclamation of my life. Back in Chicago, my phone erupted with texts and calls. Mom's card declined at a gas station. Jake's bills overdue, Mom's spa deposit at risk. Their messages shifted from confusion to anger to desperation. You're being childish and vindictive. This is financial abuse. We've contributed to those accounts too. The legal threats were empty, I'd withdrawn only my own funds. At a roadside diner, surrounded by twinkling lights and plastic poinsettias, I picked at a turkey sandwich. The waitress, sensing my solitude, offered, "Sometimes it's for the best." My voicemail filled with their pleas and threats. Mom's final message was a masterclass in manipulation. "After all my sacrifices, this is how you repay me? Call me back or don't call yourself my daughter." I deleted it, along with the others, and returned to my apartment. The silent Christmas tree greeted me, but the space felt cleaner, untainted by their exploitation. A save-the-date magnet for a colleague's wedding sparked a thought. Maybe I could build a chosen family. January's bitter winds mirrored my emotional state. I filed fraud reports, secured new accounts, and started therapy with Dr. Ellis. "What you're describing is financial abuse and emotional manipulation," she said. "Your grief is appropriate." Grief for the family I'd believed in, the mother and brother who never existed as I'd imagined. February brought small victories. I redirected the funds once sent to my family into a savings account. A weekend at a lakeside cabin, my first selfish expenditure, offered solitude and clarity. Dr. Ellis challenged me. Who is Sarah Bennett without family obligations? The question lingered as I accepted dinner invitations, joined a photography class, and connected with my neighbor Clara, a widow whose frankness about her own family betrayal resonated. Clara's card group welcomed me, teaching me canasta and sharing stories of their own complicated families. My professional life flourished. I landed a high-profile account at work. Sunday dinners with Clara and neighbors became a ritual, a chosen family built on mutual respect. By summer, I was researching homeownership, imagining roots of my own. As Christmas approached, Dr. Ellis urged me to redefine the holiday. I volunteered at a community center, serving dinner to isolated seniors and families. Shopping for their gifts, personalized, thoughtful items like a jazz record for Mr. Washington or a purple scarf for Mrs. Diaz, brought joy I'd never found with my family. On Christmas Eve, I decorated the center with paper chains and mismatched ornaments, their authenticity more beautiful than my mother's polished displays. Christmas morning, I donated the amount I'd once sent my family to a nonprofit aiding financial independence from toxic relationships. At the center, I sat with Mrs. Chen, a 92-year-old former professor. Lost as in died or lost as in not worth keeping? She asked about my family. The second, I admitted. She patted my hand. You'll survive. You might even like who you become. In April, 16 months after the rejection, I saw Jake downtown. He looked older, less polished, and attempted a hug I didn't return. Mom asks about you. He lied. The spa failed. She sold the house. 5 years ago, I'd have offered help. 2 years ago, I'd have felt vindicated. Now I felt only detachment. Still holding a grudge? He asked. No grudge, I said. Just boundaries. I wish you the best, but my life doesn't include you. I walked away. His voice calling after me, "Family is supposed to be forever, Sarah." "True family is," I replied. "What we had was exploitation dressed as obligation." That evening, over dinner with Clara and friends, I shared the encounter. Their support was genuine, free of obligation. As dessert arrived, I looked around, grateful for a chosen family built on respect, not blood. Losing what I thought was essential had opened the door to what truly mattered.